Extra, 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 extra lesson. I know everybody got a blessing, someone need lessons, someone need extra lessons. No, I get be the first girl I ever get right now. Careful. Well, yo Frost. Yeah, hear me? Them man no girl is free. Let me tell you something if you never know any.
What's up, In-Crew? It's your boy Isaiah here, man. Chilling out, maxing out, doing our thing, man. About to watch a video with Don Hinds, how he got rejected in school. Well, how he got rejected at some event or something. I actually been through that. I've been through rejection before. That joint hurts. It really does hurt. It hurts your feelings. And yeah. There's a lot to you, but yeah. Hope you guys like this video. And yeah, let's start the video and do our thing. I don't know why I said hope you guys like this video, but I'm gonna edit that out. So yeah. Alright, y'all. Let's get started with this video, man. Let's get started, man.
When you're born, can you be born with sauce, or do you acquire sauce?
You get born with sauce.
You get sauce. From...
How you gonna get born with seasoning? You gotta get seasoned. I wasn't born without the sauce.
Hell yeah.
I acquired this sauce.
You see, before your boy became Young Don the Sauce God, I was just Donald, and Donald had no sauce. So that begs the question, how did I go from having no sauce to being the sauce god? Well, like my man's Gucci just said, you aren't born with the sauce, you must acquire it. Now, here's where people get it fucked up. Money, fame, clothes, none of that stuff actually gives you sauce. They can only create the illusion of sauce. Because sauce comes from within you and is only attained by humbling yourself enough and having enough self-awareness to learn from every bad experience and mistake that you make, and then using them to make yourself a more dope person. I say that to say that the only reason that I have the sauce now is because I have had my fair share of lame nigga experiences. I have made some corny ass moves in my life, man, and taking all those L's has helped to shape me into the man that I am today. Which brings us to this story. The story of the hardest curve that I have ever received from a chick. This story takes place back in Jamaica, back when I was about 14 or 15 years old, not too long before I moved to America. So back in my hometown of Kingston, every year they have this huge fundraising event at the park where you go walk around a track to raise money or something. You know how these things work. You get someone to donate some money, and in return you're supposed to walk a certain amount of laps. It really makes no sense at all. Like, I get the mission, you're trying to do good, I guess, but nigga, come on, just give me the money. Like, if I'm doing this breast cancer charity thing, either you want to donate or not. If you do, great. If you don't, have a nice day, bitch. That's it. What do you get from me walking? You're not even there. Like, do people really get off to just the idea of someone walking because they pay them to? It just, whatever. It works, I guess. All I know is that if someone came to me asking for money in exchange for them doing laps, I'd fart in their mouth. I'd literally take my hand and cup the back of their head and shove their face in my butt cheeks and then fart in their mouth. Why? Because that's what they deserve. So I'm at the fundraiser thing, and I went with my childhood best friend, Jeremy. Side note, he's Asian, half Chinese, half Indian to be exact. That has absolutely nothing to do with the story. I just felt like saying that. So this event goes from 6 p.m. in the evening to 6 a.m. in the morning on the weekend. And it really is like a huge event.
Them Jamaicans can party, though. Like, them Jamaicans can party, man. They would party from like 8 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock in the morning, like day clean. They just, you just can't believe how they be partying. It's crazy.
There's music and food and like games and tents. It's a vibe for sure. So Jeremy and I are walking the track doing the thing when I see this hot girl walking by herself ahead of us. Now, let me be clear about one thing. I have never been afraid of spitting game to a girl. I've always been confident enough to make the approach. The quality of the game being spat, however, was pretty trash early on. So I turn to Jay and I tell him that I'm going to try and talk to this girl. We take a couple more laps as I strategize how I'm going to pull off the approach, what I'm going to say, and then I made my move. So I speed up to catch up to her and I get right beside her. And then I turn to her and say, "Hey, what's up? My name's Donald. I saw you from a little ways away. Thought you were pretty cute, so I wanted to come introduce myself." Now, I probably wasn't that smooth with it, but that was the message that I tried to get across to her. So she accepts the compliment and we start talking. So we're walking and walking and talking and talking. And as far as I remember, the conversation was going pretty alright. I don't remember any of the actual conversation, of course, but I'm sure it was a whole lot of BS small talk, because if I knew what to talk about with a chick back then. But we did end up talking for like a solid 30 minutes. Like, I thought things were going amazing, and this girl was gorgeous, by the way. I mean, this girl was so out of my league at the time, it wasn't even funny. I was thoroughly proud of myself, to say the least. Then out of nowhere, some dude yells her name. She turns around and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, Darren!" She runs over and jumps into his arms, and that's when everything started to unravel. Everything that I did from this point on ensured that this chick was gonna curve the fuck out of me, man. And again, I only know this now because of learning from all the curves that I've gotten in my 22 years of life. So what happens next? She starts talking to this dude, and they're talking, and they're talking for a while. And I just stood there. I just stood there and waited like a lame-o. She didn't even introduce me. I wasn't a part of the conversation, and this was before Instagram and Snapchat and all that shit. So it's not even like I could pretend to be busy on my phone. I was just standing there. So eventually Darren left to go be cool somewhere else, I guess, and Shawty turns it back to me. So I was thinking, cool, we can pick up where we left off. But then she was like, "Hey, I'm actually kinda hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat." This was where I should have just let it go. Actually, I should have thrown up some deuces when she put me on hold to talk to Darren. But I clearly missed that message. This, however, should have been crystal clear. But no sauce. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm hungry too. I'll come with. What do you want to eat? I'll eat whatever you want to eat because I really want your approval and I don't want you to leave." And rah. Don, what the fuck, man? Just let it go. Just let it go. So I go with her and we end up getting popcorn. And then she turns to me and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to my tent. I'll come hang out with you later." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. You want my number or something so you can find me?" "Now, where's your tent? I'll come find you." You sure? Because there are a lot of tents." "Yeah, I'll find you. Trust me." So I was like, cool. I pointed to where my tent was. I headed back there and I thought I was the freaking man. I tell Jay, "Yo, I threw it down, bro." We talked for a cool minute. She's gonna come check for me later and then I'll get the digits. So there we are, kicking it in the tent. A couple hours pass and I'm playing it cool, hanging out with the people in the tent, but low key, I'm looking out for Shawty. A couple more hours pass and now I'm like, oh snap, she must be having a really hard time finding my tent. So I grab Jay and we hit the track again. We start walking and we probably go around the track like 6 times, and right as we were about to call it a dub, I spot Shawty. But this time she was with a girlfriend. So I'm like, perfect, now Jay can have one too. So we catch up to the girls and she's like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I don't know what I said, probably something lame. And now all 4 of us are walking together and I'm definitely carrying the conversation. Then she says, "Hey, I need to use a bathroom," and asks her girlfriend to go with. And we were right by the porta potty station, so she and her friend just head over there. So Jeremy and I are chilling, waiting on the girls, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see 2 people running. I turn and take a good look, And sure enough, it was the two chicks we were just with. I point them out to Jay, and I'm like, what just happened? And then he's like, I guess she doesn't like you, bro. And that was when I finally realized that it wasn't going that well after all. And at that time, you know, I was like, oh, what a like, ouch. Couldn't you have just been like, hey, thanks, but no thanks? And I guess that's an understandable position to have, but I realize now that I did a lot of things wrong. And when you do that, things go left. By the way, remember when I said this? Like, one day she was walking over to me, and I just ran away. Like, I had nowhere to hide, and I wasn't mature enough to deal with the situation, so I just ran away. Which, by the way, karma's a bitch, and that act did come back to haunt me years later. Yeah, this was that story. Moral of the story, when it comes to people, never chase it, man. Let it come to you. What's up, fam? It's your boy, Young Don the Sauce God. Thank y'all for watching this.
Yep, you gotta... Alright guys, hope you guys like this video, man. It's kind of interesting because, like, the things I said, you know, at the same time, it happened to a lot of, like, basically a lot of people. When they're young, they're gonna go through some rejections, like always. But then once they get older, the same people that ran away like that, it's gonna come back to them. It's like a train track. It's like, it's gonna go to one person, then it's gonna go to the next person. After the next person, it's gonna go to the other person, then the other person, then the other person, then the other person. It's just like that. So you never know if it's gonna turn around, but hey, you gotta let it be. Hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna put my Instagram and my Instagram and my Twitter down there, and I'm out of here. Peace, shalom, and salute. Later, guys. See you guys next time.
What? You be killing them crazy.